One day, you'll look up from your Nintendo Switch to see it's time to send your boring baby to school. And at Victoria's Peninsula Grammar, kids really grow up so fast.
What does it mean to unleash greatness? At Peninsula Grammar, it means unlocking the potential inside each and every student, giving them a chance to rise up and embrace enormous opportunities. Our approach to learning, our calibre of teaching, and our vast state-of-the-art facilities gives every student the connection they need from the ground up, delivering your child the power to grow into a world where the possibilities are limitless.
Oh, I can't wait to see those kids versus Kong. The good news, once they graduate, those giant children can get jobs working for the Victorian government. Todd, will parents find this fee-fi-fo-fun?
I mean, it's peculiar that private schools are advertising. I mean, I feel a little bit uncomfortable about them advertising. I didn't go to a private school, but it feels that the reason they're advertising is because they can, and public schools can't. I think also, by them advertising, I can feel the sort of justification of fees, that your kid will be bigger and better than everybody else, and that's why you're paying $30,000 or $40,000 or $50,000 a year for your kid to go there. But also, it's a recruitment. Because it's big business now. It's a multi-billion-dollar business, private schools in Australia, and they want to get more and more children to come. And each child is worth between roughly $300,000 and $500,000 to these schools. So in many ways, advertising, although I'm not thrilled by the fact that private schools are advertising, it is a smart way for them to go out to market.
I can't tell you how much I don't like this.
Yes, you can.
OK. Okay.
It's exactly what we've invited you here for.
The very idea that we've industrialised education, that as a start point, I really it sits really uncomfortably with me. And schools competing via advertising, I don't like that either. And there's something just not quite right about how that reflects who and what we are. So we've got 35% of the population, I think, something like that, at private schools. And that sort of shapes our society in a particular way. It's not like in the UK, it might be 5% are going to private schools. Here, because let's say a third of the kids are going to private schools and then they're competing via advertising, it just strikes me as being not best for us, not best for who and what we are. I genuinely believe that. And the other thing which I think is so interesting is these poor parents that OK, I want my child, you can see, I want my child to be a giant. And as a result, I'm going to have to pay the $30,000, $40,000 with after-tax money. Yeah, and so the burden that puts on people and the stress that it puts on people, I just don't think that it's good for us.
I mean, the burden of also feeding and clothing those giants is quite a lot in a cost of living crisis. But what I would say is I think this is wrong on so many levels. When I think about the language that is used, they talk about, rise up, these enormous opportunities, the possibilities are limitless. And when you combine that with the visuals and these pinstripe blazers, there's something really pompous and elitist about it. And then when you combine that with towering over and kids literally looking down on their counterparts who haven't reached their supersized greatness, I'm not sure, as much as I want to feed a child's potential, that these kids need any more encouragement as to their inherent greatness, which, when you wrap all of this up and all the constituent parts, there's something ginormous about this, but it's not necessarily the kids, it's a blind spot. And it's what I call privilege, blindness and bias. I didn't go to a private school, I'll declare that. I can't afford to send my kids to private school, so be it. What I don't understand is how, when you put all of that together, that you can't see how it would be interpreted. Teach kids how to read, but also teach them how to read the room. And there is something about this that is so tone deaf, and I can't believe that they didn't see it.
So I feel like I should disclose that I'm 5'1", so I actually have a trouble with the idea that greatness has to be giant, because I think good things come in small packages. But what I find wild is that I've had a very similar response to the spot as you, Christina, and I think definitely in terms of that whole premise of being made to feel like a private school is the only right choice then you can make for your child, which I think this feeds into. But I look at this spot and I think, my God, how did people in the room not realise that is the message you take from the spot. This idea of this giant, domineering, individualistic notion of excellence or greatness is what comes across from this spot. I actually think it's completely the opposite of the message that, you know, you would want to encourage parents to believe that your school offers. It also feels a little bit out of touch. I do agree that there are an audience that this would probably prey on their insecurities and fuel that sense of pressure. But actually for me, I think, you know, more progressive notions of leadership and greatness is actually much more about serving and community. So it feels completely out of touch for the times. And just a really odd choice for me.